Morning, everybody. Hope everybody is having an awesome start to their Monday. So we are well into February at this point, approaching the 15th of the month sooner than later. And so what we know about the 15th of the month is we need to be halfway to our goals. So if you are running the economic model play in terms of one appointment a week, that means by the end of this week, you really need to have two appointments set and held. So just a friendly reminder, let's get back into tracking, making sure that we're hitting our goals and staying focused on the one thing that's going to move the needle. Two things I want to bring up, and then we're going to hit on value squared. I'm reading a book. It's called Talent War, and it's talking about military special operations and how they hire and what attributes they look for and those types of things. So I'm running this with Philip Blade. I don't know if he's on the call, but him and I are doing a book club every Monday. And I really like this quote. And Linda, I'm going to, I know you're on the call, pick on you a little bit about last week's coaching call and what you already did to implement it. But long story short, Jocko is a guy, military guy. I know he's got a podcast. He's a big social media influencer. He gets up at 4:30. His whole thing is he takes a picture of his watch every single morning. But he had a quote, which I think is just super simple, and it does ring true to me. It says, discipline equals freedom. Discipline equals freedom. And that could not be truer. And I think a lot of people as entrepreneurs, we try to avoid discipline and structure, and we think that's going to give us freedom. But what that actually gives us is a missed target, missed plan, missed opportunity, and quite frankly, a miss at wealth and building wealth. And Linda, I told you last week, in order for me to coach, I know you and I talked about accountability sessions, and Don may be on the call as well. But what did I tell you I wanted y'all to do, or I wasn't going to coach you?
Commit to physical, spiritual, and self-development.
And why is that important?
Because if those things aren't in alignment, then all the rest of it, you're going to burn out and get overwhelmed and not make it very far.
If you're not disciplined with self, if you're not disciplined with understanding you have life is an inside job, and if you're not going inward to develop all of those things, it's going to be very difficult for y'all to maintain the structure within the real estate space or whatever business you're in, because you're not working on self. So if you're not consistently working on those buckets, which is, your physical fitness, your spiritual growth, and or personal development, you will hit a ceiling at some point. So all that to say is I'm really proud of you. I know you already sent an accountability text. You already got it all in this morning. Awesome job on that. And I appreciate the implementation on it. All right, we're going to talk today on value squared. So I had some homework last week. Very curious to know if anybody took me up on it. We talked about, let me get back over here. We talked about creating a seller experience and how you do it. And I asked you to write down each of these seller experiences and document how you were doing it. So if anybody did that homework, I'd love to get your ahas on that. But all that to say is because we're wrapping up the seller side, and we talked about doing this exercise. So what I wanted to hit on really quick is, all right, you have this system, and that's exactly what those bullet points were. So these are the different points that you're going to interact with somebody during the seller experience, and then you're going to document how you do that, which is also called wrapping it up in a big bow, is called a system. I really liked this question. So when you document the process, right, you've got the system, then I think it's important for you to consistently ask yourself, why am I doing it this way? Oftentimes, I think we put together a system and then we don't reevaluate the system. So you hear a lot of times, a lot of producers say, inspect what you expect. And so, like, if you have an expectation of how you want to be treated, or the feelings and the emotions attached to that, you want to make sure that when you're providing a seller client experience, that you're consistently inspecting it to find out, why are you doing it that way and how do you feel about it? Because the goal is, throughout the entire process, is to create raving fans. The goal is to have people running to you because they know that you're going to deliver excellence in that type of client experience. So I think it's important for y'all to put yourself in the clients and customers' shoes and really consistently ask, am I giving them the experience that I would expect? Is this giving them the feeling that I am creating such a stellar client experience that they would want to refer all of their friends and family to me, and it's a no-brainer to them? Like, I'm not just checking a box, right? Like, I'm not just, oh, I'm going to help them sell their house. Check. I did a good job. Now I want to create a great experience such that people throughout their network is talking about how incredible that experience is throughout the entire process. So I really love that. I think that question is something if I was y'all, I'd put on my computer. Why am I doing it this way? And how is it making other people feel? Because the goal to make other people feel is that they want to work and do business with you in all aspects of the real estate space. And I really like this. So there's a girl, her name is Caroline Hugh. She is with Keller Williams Luxury, and she created a candle, her own candle, which Meredith Vesna was in Dallas this weekend for a gymnastics meet. And apparently, this candle is at this high end, I don't even know, some sort of furniture store. Long story short, Meredith went all the way out of her way to find this candle because she's been wanting to smell it. But all that to say is this luxury agent created this custom candle. And before every listing appointment, while she's going on the listing appointment, she drops that candle off as a gift at the listing appointment. And it does a few different things. It sets her up of, hey, I'm going to provide an excellent experience, and here's one piece of that. I'm going to surprise and delight you. If this is an extra thing I'm going to do to let you know as a professional, I want you to remember me, right? And it allows also for the home to smell good because she got this great smelling candle, so she's able to control that. And all that to say is she's doing something that other people are not, which gets noticed. And so it talks about the extra things you could do to go above and beyond, right? So the goal is that you go above and beyond so that you can get raving reviews. And I really like this. It says, here are 3 takeaways from a study that was done in regards to the 3 R's, which they're calling the 3 R's: reviews, ratings, and referrals. And I'll revisit that in just a minute. It says 90% of responders claim to have an elevated positive perception of the brand, right? 50% of respondents told peers about the experience. 33% of respondents gave the brand more business as a direct result of the surprise and delight gesture. Meaning, if she shows up with a candle or a pre-listing packet before the listing appointment and I surprise and delight my potential customer, I'm going to have an elevated experience. I'm more than likely 50% more than likely going to tell my peers about the experience, and I am going to give the brand more business as a direct response to the surprise and delight. Reviews, ratings, and referrals. Why does that matter more than ever? Number one, reviews are going to get picked up by GEO, generative engine optimization, which is going to be on AI. And then obviously ratings are going to get picked up by GEO. And then referrals, y'all, is a hot and ready lead. And if you can get a referral all day long, that is the lead source lane that I would encourage you to live in. So all that to say is, where are you creating surprise and delight within the system? So first we had to create the system, which going back to this is the system. And then how you're creating that experience for the system, right? And then over here, now we're getting into how can we do extra things to go above and beyond to create such an experience that they want to give us high ratings, reviews, and referrals. So if we're going to be that structured, the goal is that within one deal, we can get 3 to 4 more outside of it because of the experience that we've created. So it says, look at 8 moments one more time and ask for a couple of opportunities to surprise and delight. What can you do when you're making first contact to surprise and delight? What can you do when presenting value and reaching the agreement to surprise and delight? What can you do to educate around milestones to create surprise and delight? When you're executing your marketing plan, when you're providing ongoing communication and feedback, negotiating contracts, due diligence period, and closing the transaction. If you just do these things and just act transactional, you'll get paid transactionally. If you create surprise and delight within this system and get repeat referrals and ratings, you will be a top producer in town. You get to decide though if you want to do it and you want to take the time to do it. So it says down here all of the different things that you could do. Obviously, you're going to write those down. You're going to create the experience, why you're doing it that way, and what you're going to do to surprise and delight. What are y'all hearing me say out of this? Yeah, Lauren said, I listened to the podcast. Love that about the candle. Who on here is doing pre listing packets and sending a pretty pre listing packet? So that's a good opportunity for y'all. Dropping off a candle. The goal is for you to deliver so much of an experience and more often than anybody else, which is why AI is so awesome and why a database can help you get into more relationships more often and create these wow moments. So, at anything that we do, instead of just checking a box, how are we creating a high value, high touch relationship that to people want to rave about you? That is totally different than a typical agent, and that means you're going to get paid more as well. Surprise and delight, Sam said. All right, a few things I want to touch on for the week. We do have our Black History Month team meeting on tomorrow, and then we're gonna do. I think Kirsten, I know you're on the call. We're going to do like a little dance. Jennifer Hudson. I'm not that hip, but everybody tells me that, and I watched it. It was awesome. A little dance in the room and highlight all the events that we have coming up. So highly looking forward to that tomorrow. Come join us. We're gonna also talk a little bit more about Bold. That's coming up. The first step is free, just so everybody knows. And then family reunion. I know a lot of us are going to family reunion. We're going to work on doing a family reunion kind of a schedule training planning meeting so that everybody can be on the same page. If you're going to family reunion, I put in the AI prompt for planning your outfits. I'm dubbing myself as KW Fashionista because I think it's fun. So, all right, that's all I got for today. Y'all make it a good one, make it count. Let me know if you need anything. Becky, it's the MREA podcast with Caroline Hugh. We'll put it in the Facebook group right after this so you can access it. Bye, everybody. Make it a good one.